This is Inside the Artist. We're here to highlight legendary rock stars Mother Goose. In 1989, lead singer Zach Goose and his guitar-playing younger brother Eddie moved from northern Michigan to New York City to pursue childhood dreams of becoming rock stars. The brothers were approached by drummer Mo Wild, and after a small gig, they had a few drinks and Mother Goose was born.
Just finished a show in a little place on 4th. Barry. No, Barney Max. Anyways, after the show, this guy came up to us. Short curly hair, sleeves cut off. He had a beer in hand. I still remember it, in his ridiculous French accent. "Hey, fucker," he says to me. "You guys need a drummer?" He brought us around and we started jamming. A few days later, we started writing songs.
In 1991, the band signed on with New York-based record label Arsenal Records. With Arsenal, they were able to release their first in-studio album, Babes for Hire. Unfortunately, due to the inappropriate nature of the music, the album flopped. However, they had generated quite a strong underground following.
Oh, me personally, I loved Babes for Hire. It's still got some of my favorite songs we've ever written on it. I know now too many blatant references to hookers and drugs, but that's just how it was, you know? We only write what we knew, and that's what I loved about it. Take Hot Cross Buns. Great tone, but critics hated it because it promoted prostitution. So into the next album, we had to do what the labels wanted.
Tragedy struck the band during their time writing the next album. Mo's brother John Wild was found barely alive in his Montreal apartment after overdosing on cocaine.
Sitting there in that hospital room with Johnny. Johnny's body, it was surreal. I didn't know what to do. I tried waking him up, but nothing happened. After the funeral, I had to get away, so I headed back home to Montreal to be with my mom.
During their time without Mo, the band released Jack and Jill as well as Oh My Darling Clementine. Both songs went on to flop, and it wasn't until May of 1994 when Mo decided to return to the band. But when he did, he brought with him something that they had never even thought to write. Mo grabbed the mic and recorded an acoustic version of Frere Jacques right there on the spot. The band would later release a full version on their next upcoming album. The long-awaited album was finally released in 1995 on the 3rd year anniversary of the band. It included hit songs like Row, Row, Row Your Boat, Rockabye Baby, and of course Frere Jacques. It was a hit worldwide.
We'd finally really made it big. It was amazing. We started our first North American tour, and we were playing for thousands.
We partied every night for 2 years. We only ever slept on the bus between cities. Shows became secondary to the party. We're living out our childhood dreams. Who actually gets to do that?
That's exactly what it felt like. The dream.
We're live here at the Mother Goose bus crash. Everyone is still trapped inside, but there are no reports of any serious injuries at this time.
The bus accident resulted in the untimely passing of the band's longtime driver, Teddy King. It was reported that King had gotten high off the drugs that the band was smoking on the bus and fell asleep at the wheel. He drifted into oncoming traffic and was pronounced dead on impact on September 17th, 1997.
I woke up in the hospital with a broken wrist and some bruising. Our group was lucky nothing major happened to us. Everything was fine until the police told me that Teddy had died in the crash.
Teddy had died. I don't think anybody realized it was our fault until the funeral. Afterwards, we just sat in the hotel room in silence.
After pressure from Arsenal, Mother Goose went back on tour, but it would never be the same. Their rock and roll, who cares attitude was gone.
After the accident, we finished up the tour, but it just wasn't the same. The record sales had dropped halfway through the tour.
After our last show, we all went back to Barney Max
because we knew it was time for the band to split up.
Our 15 minutes almost lasted a decade. And that is more than what most people can say.
The band played together for one last time that night, in the same bar that they had gotten their start in nearly 10 years earlier. They got on stage and played Humpty Dumpty, a song the audience had never heard before. It is now one of the most well-known rock ballads of all time. The song depicts a group's fall from fame as they come to realize themselves through their rock star personas. Mother Goose still is one of the most influential bands in rock history.